The next speaker that we have is Mr. Srinivasan Raman. Mr. Raman has spent about 20 years in the aviation industry and had begun as a cargo service agent with Royal Jordanian Airlines and ascended to qualify as an instructor. He was a visiting instructor at Delhi for Air Hostess Academy, Skyline Institute of Travel, Frankfurt Institute, TravelMate India, and Maples Institute. In 2008, Mr. Raman joined Bird Academy as a full-time instructor till 2011 and then moved to Qatar Civil Aviation College at Doha till 2012. His expertise is in aviation law, rating, dangerous goods regulation, live animal regulations, shipping temperature controlled substances, perishable cargo regulations, carriage of infectious substances, carriage of radioactive substances, international maritime dangerous goods, carriage of dangerous goods by road, by rail, and ramp handling safety and emergency response and airport operations. His foremost achievements were in 2009 when he visited Kabul to conduct training for 350 airport personnel on aviation safety and security, and in 2015 had conducted the first international maritime dangerous goods training in the Sultanate of Oman. Presently, he is a senior instructor, facilitator, and advisor and has been instrumental in advising the CAA of Sultanate of Oman in dangerous goods. I call upon Mr. Srinivasan Raman to talk about the topic today, that is transport of cargo in the passenger cabin and relevant regulatory requirements. Sir, you're on mute, so if you could kindly unmute yourself.
Thank you, Shivani, for having me invited for this international seminar on aviation law. Can we move on to the next slide? Next, please. Yeah, this is what I will be talking about today. The transport of cargo in passenger cabin. That is, you can see some boxes kept on the passenger seats as well as the overhead bins, where actually you should have been sitting and your handbags should have been kept ethically. Next slide, please. My objective of today is talking on 5 objectives. That is aviation in the new normal, that is post-COVID-19. Then carriage of cargo in the passenger cabin. New concept of cargo on passenger seats, which has never been in the history of civil aviation. Then the safety aspects. Then what do the regulators have to say regarding the solution of carriage of cargo in the passenger cabin. Next slide, please. Now, when we talk about aviation in the new normal, the civil aviation universally comes to a standstill with the outbreak of the pandemic. That is sometime in March, when the COVID-19 started getting into its peak, air travel got less. Then what happened? Many countries forbid the transport of passengers by air travel for the purpose of not getting infected. Some countries did not allow airlines coming from certain other regions. Now the regional matter also became very important at this point of time. Now, when we speak about infectious, the World Health Organization made a very important role that certain medicines or protective equipment to be carried by air, to be transported in a fast mode, and air is the fastest mode of travel. Now we talk about what protectives can be transported on passenger cabin and why. And the different concept from that of a combination aircraft, or what we call as the combi aircraft operation. What is the basic difference? Can we go to the next slide? The next slide. Yeah. Now here, as I said aviation makes history, cargo travels in passenger seat for the carriage of protective equipment. Now, as discussed, the carriage of passenger is forbidden and cargo only operation gets priority in this consideration. Now, reconfiguration of passenger aircraft to cargo aircraft only, not possible because of time. Because when we remove the seats and make it a cargo aircraft only, then the manufacturers have to weigh the aircraft again and the entire manual has to be amended because of the weight considerations. So most of the airlines around the world gets exemption from their regulatory authorities to carry cargo on the passenger cabin. The next slide, please. Now, what protectives can be transported on the passenger cabin? Now, the World Health Organization approved personal protection equipment, which is a mask, medical healthcare or medical patient, goggles, protective glasses, face shields, gloves, gown, biohazard bag, etc. And they also said to use the hand sanitizers. But I have not included the hand sanitizer on this slide. Can you please go to the next slide? Now, there is a restriction in carriage of a hand sanitizer in the cabin, because hand sanitizers contain ethanol or methanol of 70% and more, which is considered to be a dangerous good. And as per the IATA dangerous goods regulations and the ICAO technical instruction for the safe transport of dangerous goods by air, only certain dangerous goods are allowed to be carried by passengers or crew in the passenger cabin, either in their hand baggage or on their person. Now, that is laid out in the IATA dangerous goods regulation. Now, when it comes to all cargo carry operation, that means it is a no-no for dangerous goods in the cabin. Next slide, please. Now, different concept of carriage of carriage of cargo in the passenger cabin than of a combi aircraft. Now, combi aircraft, basically in the history of aviation, when we see the 747 200s and 300 aircraft, the E zone, that is the upper deck where the passengers used to sit, the last zone was converted into cargo zone for 6 pallets or 12 containers. No dangerous goods could be loaded there because passengers were seated in the forward hold. So, passengers were seated on A, B, C, D and cargo will be on the last hold. So, the entire zone was considered to be a zone. That is where a crew can go have a walk to see in case of a smoke or not because of any hazardous material or dangerous goods, but because of any other short circuit or any other spillage, the crew can physically walk there. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, most of the airlines worldwide do not have a cargo aircraft only operations, that is the freighter operations. Now, requires passenger aircraft to operate as freighters. Now, time taken to reconfigure an aircraft hampers operation and carriage of necessities. Now, again, now comes the most important crew complement and weight requirements to be considered here. Next slide, please. Now, when we talk of crew complement and the safety aspect, crew complement is how many crew for how many aircraft. Like in a narrow body aircraft 737 and 320, it's normally 2 and 4. But here in this operation, you can see 2 cockpit crew members, that is a commander and the first officer, 1 load master, 1 flight engineer, 2 cabin crew, 1 for the forward and 1 for the aft, for takeoff purpose and for landing purpose. And the load master will be there to ensure prior to takeoff the cargo is secured, after landing the cargo is secured, and after takeoff the cargo is secured. Because any shift of cargo may hamper with the weight and balance situation of the aircraft and the center of gravity may shift. And for a wide body aircraft like Airbus 330 and a Boeing 777, it is usually 2 cockpit crew and 9 cabin crew. But in this consideration, we have 2 cockpit crew, 1 load master, 1 flight engineer, 3 cabin crew, 1 in the forward, 1 in the aft, and 1 in between. Next slide, please. Now, the load master task shall be to responsible check the securing of cargo on the passenger seat and tie downs. Now, tie downs are very important in this aspect. If the nets are not tied securely, then there are chances during takeoff, because there's a vibration during takeoff. So, cargo may shift. If the cargo shifts, there's a shift of center of gravity. Where there's a shift of center of gravity, then the aircraft may have a tipping. Then, shall be responsible in accurate preparation of the load and trim sheet for the flight and manufacturer weights to be taken into consideration. Then if seats are removed and cargo stacked on the seat tracks, the security methods and maintaining the center of gravity will be totally different from when the seats were there. Next slide, please. The load master shall inspect the packages and nets before takeoff, after takeoff, and prior to landing to check for any packages or nets getting loose due to vibration. One of the 3 phases of flight: vibration, temperature difference, and pressure difference. These are the basic 3 phases. Out of these 3, here we talk of the vibration. Now, what do the regulators have to say? That is the Civil Aviation Authority of the different countries. Most of the regulators and aircraft manufacturers permit operators to load verified cargo in the cabin of passenger aircraft, subject to defined conditions. Some regulators may say it must be under exemptions. Then, to ensure that no dangerous goods are loaded on the passenger cabin, as discussed before, for this purpose, the entire passenger cabin is considered Class A cargo compartment. That is, the commander or the first officer or the flight engineer can take a walk around the cabin to see in case of any spillage, leakage, or any kind of a smoke or a fire. And then sufficient cabin crew members to be on board to monitor the cabin throughout the duration of the flight for any indication of smoke or fire. And where necessary, they will alert the flight crew to use the available firefighting equipment. Next, please. Now, what is the stowage limitation? Now, when we calculate as a passenger, when we travel, the adult passenger is calculated as 77 kilos, a child is calculated 30 kilos, and the infant is calculated as 10 kilos. Now, where one seat was to carry 77 kilos, we are talking only of 23 kilogram maximum gross weight per seat and 5 kilograms on the overhead bin. Whereas if we were carrying a hand baggage, 7 kilos was permitted. Now, stowage maximum capacity in any aircraft shall not be exceeded, whether it's a narrow body aircraft or a wide body aircraft. Then the number and type of restraint devices and their attachment points shall be capable of restraining the cargo in accordance with applicable certification specifications. Now, these certifications are given in the aircraft operator manual, which is approved by the Civil Aviation Authority of every contracting state. And the cargo shall not be placed where it can impede any access to emergency equipment or hinder egress in case of an emergency evacuation. So always in this case, the first row and the last row of the aircraft shall be kept empty, not even for crew operation. If the cargo must be loaded under the seat, the mass of each piece must not exceed 9 kilos. Next slide, please. Then the weight and balance requirement is the lateral and longitudinal center of gravity of the cargo must be within the limits provided by the manufacturer, that is plus or minus 10% of the center of tie down pattern. is acceptable, not beyond 10%. Then cargo shall not extend or overhang into the aisles, doorways, galleys or emergency galleys. And it shall not be kept inside the laboratories. A minimum of one row in the forward and aft hold to be kept unoccupied, not even crew, as discussed before. And cargo center of gravity height shall not exceed the value provided by the aircraft manufacturer. Next slide, please. Any other exemptions or approvals granted by the National Regulatory Authority shall by all means be adhered by the operator. That is, the international regulations are always there, plus the national regulators shall give additional approval or exemption for a certain cargo to be carried on board an aircraft. Next slide, please. Now, I have given a small table which says cargo type is the first column. You can see supplies or medicines. I put a dagger, A plus C, then a dagger, then general cargo, then dangerous goods, cargo aircraft only operations. Now, the very first, the second column says passenger cabin. Under passenger cabin, we have three areas: overhead bin, under the seat, and on the seat. And on the seat also with a cargo with seat bag with nets and or strap. Then on cabin floor with nets and or straps with seats removed. Can we go to the next slide? Now the configuration says if A is given in the previous table, it requires a Civil Aviation Authority approval to carry. B says operators holding CAA approval to carry dangerous goods as cargo. Only those airlines which has approval to carry dangerous goods can carry dangerous goods. C says require approval from aircraft manufacturer. So in one of the areas we saw A plus C. That means it requires a CAA approval plus it requires a approval from the aircraft manufacturer also. Then D says operators holding a CAA approval to carry dangerous goods. CAA dangerous goods must be loaded into a class C cargo compartment only, and which is not acceptable where passengers are on board. Now there are certain, next slide please, yes. Certain references given. There is the Federal Aviation Authority and EASA. Now most of the countries follow the EASA regulations. Some countries follow the FAA regulations, and they have implemented their own national standards. They will base their regulation into EASA or FAA, and they will implement their own standards into the EASA or FAA. Then we have the Boeing standards and the Airbus standards. That is the MOM and FOT, cargo transportation in the cabin. Thank you very much. And if there are any questions, I am available for the questions. Thank you.